First off, let me say that this is a hyperbole, and I do not think there's such a thing as a PhD in D&D. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I just don't want somebody to take me literally and get mad. Anyway, the reason I did this is because PhD in D&D has a nice ring to it, and so does doctorate degree in D&D. I think they both have nice rings to them. Anyway, if you really think about it, players and especially DMs have to learn an awful lot in D&D, especially world building. So let's look from a DM's perspective because that's what I normally do. I'm normally a forever DM. But if you think you're world building, you're building a city, okay? You have to think, what is this city, what culture is it based off of? So there you got anthropology. What are the economics of this city? So yeah, right there you've got economics, the government of the city, so politics, governance. Hell, you could even go with infrastructure, like how are the roads laid out in this city you're creating. Go with sewers. Like I don't know what the name for learning what sewers run through a city are. Sewage system. Yeah, you can learn how to do that. Like, you want to build a sewer system for like the rogues to get around all sneaky and whatnot. Literacy, build lore for the world. That's literacy. But I could go on and on because think about it. You have to learn a lot. And, you know, building up a world building, there's so much that goes into it. Like I was saying, different parts of the world, different cultures, anthropology, the study of cultures and humankind and stuff like that. So, that's a problem I've been having because I'm not knowledgeable enough. And I need to study more to be a better DM. That's my whole thing. I try to be the best DM I can be. So I have made some cardinal mistakes in my time DMing. I want to improve on that. My universe is called Arvanel. I want to improve on the universe as well. I have a polytheistic pantheon that I've custom built. So that's another thing. You're doing D&D, you need to learn theology. And this is not scripted. It's probably just a rant. Yeah, it's definitely what it is. But, as a player, you don't really have to study as much as a DM, but some players do just for the hell of it. They want to know everything they can. And while you're playing, you might even learn from the DM, like something about infrastructure that the DM has researched when you're trying to figure out the road layout of the city you're in. It's like I've never met the people that designed Waterdeep, but Waterdeep is a tremendous city in the world of D&D, and guarantee you look at the team that built Waterdeep. There was a lot of thought that went into building that map and city and the lore behind it. Can you just imagine all the work and all the writers? I mean, there's multiple books about just Waterdeep itself, and that's only one city in that world, in that setting. You have to think elsewhere in the setting, there's even more cities with lore and knowledge behind them. So that's really what I'm wanting to get at is, even though there's not a PhD or a doctorate in D&D, the sheer amount of studying you do is immense, especially as a DM. If you take it, I'll probably take it too seriously. D&D is life, but a lot of people are serious about it, and it is a good way to learn things. Because if you're passionate about something, you're going to put more effort into it. So, whereas normally you might not give too much of a care for the way roads are designed in a city in the Middle Ages. But you're a DM and you're trying to be as immersive and real as possible. You sit there, you will research what the roads are like in a medieval city. I mean, if you're getting like in the nitty gritty of it, like you do that, you know. If you want to know the exact thing that a jester would do on a given day of a holiday or something, just some kind of crazy trivia or information that is highly specific that really has no purpose in everyday life. If you need it for your game, you will look it up. I can't tell you how much time I've spent just trying to figure something out. And I just get on Google and I type it in and I look at a few sources. I'm like, what is this? How do I do this? Like, does this make sense? But also would like to say, you know, D&D is a good learning tool for students, whether they be in grade school, high school, or college. You know, if you take it to a certain degree, you can learn a lot with it, especially, you know, a kid in grade school. Maybe not like full on, like blast out D&D, but you've got some little kids that are learning how to do multiplication or mathematics. You take them through a simplified version of D&D. You teach them math in a fun and constructive way. So I'm 100% down with that. And like as you know, you get into high school, you start learning about different things. You know, you get into more advanced topics. You can apply those to D&D. Like when I was in high school, I had economics class, I had government class. I didn't play D&D back then, but it surely would have helped if I had a reason to study government, you know, for D&D. And history class, the history of the real world, you'll say, well, that doesn't pertain to D&D, that's real life. If you think about it and you're a DM, you can highly base historical things from the real world into your game. Like you could have an entire concept of, well, hell, you might even play a game like in the real world. Like you might even use the real world as your fictional setting. You know, who am I to know? But even, you know, what I'm getting at is you can never stop learning as you play D&D. There's always something new to learn. And even, you know, you're in college, you're getting a doctorate. You say you have 8 other people who are getting doctorates in something. You 8 people can sit around a table constructively and play D&D, apply everything that you're learning into the game. Just be as complex as you want to be. It will help you retain the information better. It will help it click better in your head, and it will put you in a simulation of how that goes. So there may not be a doctorate in D&D. There may not be a PhD in D&D. But in the end, you can have a hell of an education just from playing D&D. That's all I really wanted to say. You know, this just kind of came to me, and I wanted to rant about it. And yeah, if you've enjoyed this rant and agree with what I said, that's great. If not, well, I mean, I'm sorry you watched this far. And I will also say have a wonderful day. And yeah, cool. Goodbye.